I know I told you guys I would drop an episode the other night, but man, has my life been crazy. You know, I was pretty pissed off the last episode, and I always told myself I'd be, brutally honest with everybody who supports me and listens to my podcast. Uh, and that's just what I'm gonna do. You know, I knew that God had a better plan. I knew, or excuse me, a bigger plan for me. I knew that things were going to have to work out a certain way, and I was just going to have to be patient, even when things fell apart. I think it was pretty obvious, and I had people message me, you know, praying for me, just telling me that they were hoping everything works out, and they knew how passionate I was about uh, getting this coaching gig. I will never beat around the bush with anybody who listens to this podcast. If I'm going to give you my life, I'm going to give you the roller coaster. It's what I do because that's what life is. Life is not perfect. Life is not a straight line. Sometimes you go up and down like a roller coaster. Sometimes you make a loop de loop. Sometimes you make a U-turn and you go back the other way. Sometimes you go against traffic, and sometimes you just hit a bunch of potholes. And that's what has gone on with this coaching situation. Has nothing to do with me, meaning the decisions and the back and forth. I'm literally the middleman. Just okay. Well, tell me what the fuck we're doing. I'm gonna go stand over here. Before we jump off into that, and this is episode 150 of the Perfect Mess podcast, by the way. Damn, we've come a long way, man. 150 episodes. Wild. Uh, Before I jump off into that, I was so angry about that situation. And my son Jaden says, Dad, I found a car show. Can you take me to a car show? And I said, what kind of car show? Because I'm not a big fan of car shows. I like muscle cars, um, street rods, stuff like that, but I'm not into like the typical like lowrider car shows. That's just not my style. And my son isn't either. He likes the European, the muscle cars and whatnot. So I was just making sure. I'm like, what kind of car show? And he's like, this one. It's the good guys. I go, oh, that's right. I go, that's in Pleasanton, huh? And he says, yeah. And this is Jaden, my youngest. And he's like, can you take me? Can we go? And when I tell you my first instinct was to say, buddy, we got to plan that. Like, how much does it cost? I planned on working this weekend. That was everything that was going on in my head. And then I realized how excited he was about wanting to go. He has a thing for cars right now. Like he goes through these phases where he's into different things like, drawing and stop motion stuff for TikTok. And then he loves to like draw and sell his portraits and stuff online on eBay. And then he got really into cologne. He's still into cologne, but now he's gotten really into his fashion, and now he's diving back into cars again. He loves cars, sports cars and stuff. So I could tell he was so excited about the possibility of going, like he really wanted to go, and he wanted me to go. And I'm not dumb. My kids are smart, and I think he saw how. this affected me. I think he saw that his dad was visibly affected by this decision that the school made. And I think, yes, he wanted to go regardless, but I think he was like, I got to get my dad to take me to this and we'll hang out together and it'll be fun. And he'll take his mind off this for a while. And it worked. It did. Um, I always try to make sure I'm very conscious of what my kids are trying to do and very conscious of spending quality time with them, which is why we do a monthly Father Sunday where they do solo days with me. So I never want to be that dad who squandered opportunities because something in my life didn't go my way. Suck it up, buttercup, right? That's life. Shit throws you a curveball. Sometimes you hit it, sometimes you don't. I didn't hit that one. But you know what? That doesn't mean that you squander an opportunity to spend time with your son who wants to go and hang out with you and see some cars and have some food and just get away. So I did that. I got online. I told him, I said, hey, I found the tickets. We will go. Okay. He's like, all right, cool. So I bought us tickets. We went out there. I picked him up in the morning and we drove out to Pleasanton and we went to the Good Guys Car Show. And it was just me and him. My oldest son didn't really want to go. He's not really into cars like that. And plus, I think all this baseball stuff is wearing on my son too, um, because we're trying to find, or yeah, trying to find some consistency with this baseball team. And if it isn't the young kids, that are on this team that are trying to learn the game, it's the coaching staff or it's the school or it's something. Something is just not. We just keep running into roadblocks, and it's hard to get some gelling together with this team with all this stuff going on. So I think it's taking a little bit of a toll on my son. You know what I mean? So I think he just wanted to stay home and chill. Anyways, me and Jaden went to Pleasanton and we hung out, and I just I enjoyed watching him get so excited about the cars, and then I almost forget how much I know about cars too. You know, uh, And so as we're going through looking at all these cars, he's taking pictures and video, and I'm taking pictures of him taking pictures. And he's asking me about certain cars. Oh, and I'm like, oh man, I used to have this car. And then I would tell him what the engine was and what the tail lights do and what the headlights do. And oh, check out the seats. Watch, this seat can do this, or this car shifts gears on the column where the steering wheel's at, not on the floor. And I would show him all these things. And before I knew it, man, I wasn't thinking about baseball at all. What I was doing was I was living in the moment. I was enjoying this opportunity with my son. And gosh, such a blessing, man. Such a blessing. Dads, if you're listening right now, don't let the shit going on in your personal life with away from your family fuck up the shit that you got going on with your kids and your family. Don't do it. I know sometimes you get so angry and pissed off about a situation. You're just like, no, I'm gonna have a beer. I ain't going anywhere. I'm pissed the fuck off. If I can give you any advice, don't do that. You got to find a way to push that stuff aside and go still enjoy time with your kids and still enjoy time with your family. It's very important. I promise you, when you go and do it, before you realize it, you're not going to be thinking about the shit that's been bothering you. You're going to be living in the moment, taking in this time, this quality time with your kid. And before you know it, you're laughing, you're taking pictures, you're eating food. I mean, we had pastrami, pastrami and cheese fries. I've never had that before, but it was on the menu there, and I said, let's try it." So we did that. Um, got him a few, got him a drink, and we hung out and just walked around, took a bunch of pictures, He was telling me the cars I'm talking to him like, okay, top five cars so far that you've seen here. So he was telling me his top five cars. I was telling him the cars that were from like popular sitcom shows back in my day. And like, oh, that car used to be on Dukes of Hazzard. Oh, that one was in a movie called Smokey and the Bandit. Oh, that one right there. Like, I'm just going off telling him everything. And it's just great. He's like, Dad, when I get older, I want this car right here. It's like $100,000 car, $150,000 car, whatever. And I believe it, man. This kid's a hustler. This kid is at school right now, and he has bags of candy. Like he puts them in Ziploc bags with like Skittles and licorice and M&Ms and M's and whatever. He puts them in a bag and he sells them as bundle packs. You hear what I'm saying? He goes to seventh grade. In his backpack, he has a bunch of Ziploc bags of candy, variety packs that he puts together, and he sells them for like, I don't know, $5 to $7 or something like that. He's making some money. He comes back. When I go to pick him up from school, he comes back with a wad of money like this, a wad of money. I go, how much you make? Oh, I made this much. I go, okay, what's mom? I know mom's the one buying these candies for you. He's like, yeah, well, I give her cut. So he gives he's like, I give her cut. So he goes back home, he puts her cut aside, puts it right by her computer, and then he takes his money. And he's like, but I'm gonna take this money, I'm gonna give it to mom. I'm gonna tell her I want her to buy this. I go, good. So you're reinvesting it, not spending it. You're reinvesting it so you can get more money, so you can double up. Good. He's like, yeah, Dad, because I want to there's some stuff that I want to do, and I know that if I spend the money as I make it, it's not good. I said, yeah, you're smart. Anyways, I believe my son can have any car he wants because he's a hustler, and I believe one day he is going to get that Lamborghini that he wants. I do. And I just told him the only stipulation is when you get it, if I'm still alive, I want the first ride. So, and he says, of course, Dad. But we had a great time, and I'll tell you what, man, I was thankful. Uh, I watched him. I stood back, um, and watched him take some photos of this big old monster truck that was there. And while he was taking photos, getting different angles, I just kept telling myself, thank you, God. Thank you. Thank you for convincing me to come out here with my son and getting away, getting my mind off everything. I needed this. You know I needed this. And I think you told my son, your father needs this. Make sure he goes with you. So it was good that we went. And I'm very thankful for that because that was what I needed. And we were out there for maybe about 3 or 4 hours. And then we shot back to the house. It was cool. It was a good time. Um, I'll tell you, man, even in the beginning, I was like, oh, son, it kind of rained today. I don't know if they're going to have the car show. Like, my bitch voice was going to work. It was like, nah, you don't need to go. You're mad, remember? Oh, look at it, rained a little bit. They're not going to have a car show in the rain. And wouldn't you know it, it cleared up. And when we got there, sunshine. It was, in fact, it was hot. So, word to the wise, don't let your bitch voice win. Put that thing all the way down in the dungeon and do what you're supposed to do. All right. So let's get back to the meat of it. Okay. Here's the meat. If you're on my Instagram, you know I am back at the high school coaching baseball again. Yeah, I know. Uh, I feel like a fucking yo-yo, man. When I tell you it wasn't anything that I did, I tell you the truth, man. When I tell you that I talked to a few parents and they were like, you should have seen these kids at the school. They literally gathered up in a group, a big group, and went to the teacher's classroom and surrounded him regarding you and not bringing you back. I ain't never had no shit like that happen for me in my life. Never. I don't think I ever had someone fight for me like that. These parents were like, these kids love you. Coach Ray, they love you. What's crazy is you've been with them only 2 weeks. And in 2 weeks, you had that much of an impact on these kids. They absolutely love you. They surrounded the teacher at school to where the principal had to come over and ask what was going on. And they said, we want our coach back. And it's your fault. And we're not happy. And if you don't bring him back, we're walking. I ain't never had no shit go on like that in my life. I don't know if uh I don't know if anybody's ever showed me they cared that much. All I can say is thank you. Um, I never wanted those kids to walk. I never wanted them to put their put their season in jeopardy because I'm not there. You know what I mean? Um, I would never I would never advise kids to do that. I would never advise anybody to walk for me from a job, from anything. But the fact that they did that on their own, all I could do is come back and coach my ass off and try to get them to get better. You know, what's crazy is my son's on this team, and I often wonder how he feels. And I talked to him. He hugged me and said, "I'm a dad." Before I left, he gave me a hug. He said, "I'm glad you're back." But I wonder, you know, when he's at the school and these kids are surrounding the teacher, upset. I wonder how he feels when he knows that a bunch of kids are rallying to bring his father back to coach. I wonder if he's proud. I wonder if he's amazed that in a matter of 2 weeks, a bond can be built like that with a team. I hope so. I hope that he's proud. I hope that when he gets older, he wants to become somebody who is has a lot of integrity and somebody that people look up to and respect. I hope so. You know, the way that I came back was very strange. I didn't know, I think I told you the last email I got was, we need your support as a father, not as a coach this year. And they asked me to step down. So I did. Upset, pissed off. You guys remember the last episode. But then, days go by, and then out of nowhere, I get an email and it's this long email and it's like, can we have a meeting? And it was on some, I think I made a mistake in just rushing to make my decision. And I'd like for us to get together because it is very obvious these kids don't want to play for us. They want to play for you. And there are reasons why I took this job, but it's very clear that you should have been the coach from the gate. It's very clear that the AD should have hired you when he was supposed to hire you. And it's very clear that these kids do not want to play for either one of us if you're not there. So I would like to meet with you if we could, so we could just talk and try to get on the same page about a few things and do this for the kids. And he said, if you'd be willing to, I'd love to have you at practice this today or tomorrow, excuse me. This was the other day. I'd love to have you at practice tomorrow. And then after practice we can talk. We can go have some pizza, a beer and talk. And I said, I'll be there. Let me know what pizza place. Pizza and a drink on me. And I showed up to practice. And when I tell you that these kids were happy to see me, I don't know if I think I was trying to be a little bit more reserved, but I don't know if they realized how happy I was to see them. Kids come up to me, "What's up, coach? You're back." High fiving me, shaking my hand. The captain of the team, he's putting his baseball pants on. He puts his head down, he clenches his fist, and he says, "Yeah," like just happy. And man, that is a hell of a feeling. That is a hell of a feeling, man. I don't know if any of y'all listening have ever had some shit like that happen. I haven't. I've never had something go down like that. And I've never had a group of kids that I coach do that for me. It's wild, man. Anyways, coach shows up, comes up to me, shakes my hand. He goes, "Thank you for coming. I appreciate you." I said, "It's not a problem." He goes, "I want you to run practice today." Got it. Let's get it going, guys. So we start running practice. Have a great practice. Energy is good. Drilling is good. Everything is good. And once practice is done, you know, I tell the kids about how they have a chance to turn their season around, about how I know their record is 0-3, and how I know that these last couple of games have been tough for them. But I showed them, you guys are literally an inning away in each game from turning this thing around. You're not out of it by a long shot. Every game you're improving. I know the score doesn't show that, but I promise you, because I keep track of all the stats, I promise you, you guys are improving. All right. Kept the morale up, sent them home, and then I dropped my son off, and then I met uh, the main coach, the main teacher that's managing the team. I met him for pizza. Now, before I go there, the other coach that I butted heads with, and the one that said I'm here now, and all that. Um, Me and him had a really good talk, He came up to me and we went behind the dugout and we are talking, and he said, I wanna apologize. I said, no. I go, listen, you've already apologized. I said, I want to apologize to you. I wanted to wait till I saw you in person. I want to apologize to you for the way that I matched your energy. He goes, no, you weren't disrespectful. I go, no, I wasn't disrespectful. I was very mindful of that. I said, but I shouldn't have matched your energy. That's where I was wrong. I said, trust me, I read a lot of books and whatnot, and I'm literally reading a book right now about self mastery. And it talks about controlling your reaction to aggressiveness when it's coming your way, and how sometimes you can get triggered and you don't realize it could be something that from your past, your childhood, or it could be something from that you've learned, and maybe this triggered something and you fired back with an attitude. I said, I need to apologize for matching your energy. I shouldn't have done that, and that's from me. But I want to do it face to face. Um, he admitted to me that he's dealing with some health issues, some pretty serious health issues. And he said that day that we got into it, I canceled a doctor appointment to come to practice to have this meeting, and it didn't go well. I came in with an attitude. He goes, and then everything happened. You know what happened? I said, why didn't you say anything? He's like, well, I don't like talking about the shit. And I said, well, I hope, everything's okay. And if it's that serious, you need to fuck baseball. I said, fuck baseball, man. You got to be here for your kids. You got to be here for your family. Whatever it is, if it's that serious, take care of it. This shit don't mean nothing. What means something is that you're here for your kids and your wife. I said, so listen, I appreciate your apology. I want to apologize to you. And I'm glad we had this talk. And he says, you're a great coach, man. He goes, I needed to tell you that you're a great coach. I said, I appreciate you, man. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. So, anyways, when we got practice going, I got everybody involved. I got, Fernandez involved, and I got the other coach involved as well. And everybody was active. We were doing sliding drills. We were doing uh, tracking the ball drills. We were doing all kinds of different drills, but everybody was involved, and it was a good practice. But anyway, so that to move on, I end up going to have pizza and a beer with Fernandez, and we end up talking. Oddly enough, this is the talk that we should have had a long time ago. And what I mean by that, it really wasn't baseball. It was life. It was it was us talking about being grown ass men. Now he's got some years on me, not a whole lot, but he's got some years on me. And we just never really got to know each other. And it's hard to respect somebody and understand where they're coming from when you don't know anything about them. Let me say that again. It's hard to respect somebody and know where they're coming from when you don't really know anything about them. Because then you can understand. You might understand their views and why they look at things a certain way. So we got to talking about life, man. He started telling me about his childhood, his relationship with his father. And as he's getting into that story, he says, I want to apologize to you because I asked I asked the AD why he didn't hire you, that you're the man for the job. What happened? Why were you going to cancel the season when you had this guy? He was ready to go. And he didn't say nothing. He goes, no, I'm asking the question. Like, why didn't you hire him, and why didn't you tell me that he was supposed to be the coach? I would have thought about this whole situation differently before I asked him to come in. And he said the AD turned around and said, because I just didn't fucking hire him. I didn't. I don't know. I didn't hire him. The AD just dropped the ball. Simple and plain. He dropped the ball. It got too late. It is what it is. But he said, man, I want to apologize because he should have hired you. This was your job. And if he followed through, you would have had the job and everything would have went smooth this year. At least when it comes to like the paperwork and logistics, we wouldn't be here with all these problems. So he tells me about his fatherhood, his father, his childhood, his relationship with his father, how his father coached baseball for 25 years, how uh, he wasn't a very good baseball player himself, how he played for a little bit, how when he was younger he broke his back, and um, he just never really fit in. He told me about his grandfather, I believe one of his uncles that were baseball players that actually went pro. He showed me a baseball card online of one of his, I think it was his grandfather. He never got to meet his grandfather. His grandfather died when he was really young. And then he tells me, you know, I think I wanted to take on this gig to to carry on the family tree, to the family lineage somehow. Like I wanted to do it for my grandfather that I never got to meet. I wanted to do it for my dad because my dad's name is on that baseball field where he coached at for 25 years. You know, my family name is over at Cal Berkeley on a baseball field. You know, and I when I got the opportunity, my biggest thing was maybe I'm not a good baseball coach, but I have an opportunity to help save this baseball program. I'm going to do this for my dad in his memory. He goes, you know how you ask the kids to write down who they're playing for this year? That was my story. And I can tell you that when he was telling this story, he was tearing up. It brought me to tears, man. He said, "Fuck, I shouldn't be crying." No, man, that is some real ass shit." He goes, "So I get it, man. I don't know a lot about baseball. I know I'm not the best coach, but damn it, I do. I have a passion that I want to help. And maybe I'm not the best coach, and I don't have the best ideas. And I know these kids don't like me very much, but I'm okay. I got thick skin." I go, "Nah." I go, "Listen to me. None of that matters, man." I go, "Because they didn't give me the job. In fact, they were canceling the season. And when you heard about it, you stepped up to the plate. Regardless if I was supposed to get the job initially or not, you stepped up. Now, that is commendable because you did help save the program. And I understand more now what the issue is. I understand you wanted to be more involved with everything that's going on the field and at practice and whatnot and not feeling left out. I said, and before I came to this meeting, I was taking notes while I was working on a piece of cardboard. I sent Jordan a picture of it. I said, working and doing baseball notes. And my son told me to focus. I said, but I pulled out the cardboard. I go, look, this is what I got. I worked out how I can get you involved with the drills at practice. So not only are we teaching the boys, but you're learning the drills so you can run them as well. I figured out on game days how we can make sure that you're feeling more involved in the plan and what we're doing on the field instead of just sitting there watching me run the game. I said, I've worked all that out and I'm glad I did because you telling me this, it hits home for me. You know why I'm playing. I told the boys why I'm playing. I'm playing for my coach when I played here at Independence. I'm playing for Rudy. Guy was like a dad to me. And I said, and the fact that you're playing for your father and your grandfather's memory, I understand. I get it. We talked about how his father had passed away and how, it was supposed to be an hour-long surgery and he never came out. He went to a coma. Talked about how both of our fathers committed adultery, how both of our relationships with our fathers was very strained, like just difficult. And we bonded, man. I didn't expect that. I really didn't. I told him, I said, look, I'm gonna do everything in my power to make sure that this season is good. I don't care if we win a game. I'm talking about on a level of if we finish this season and we don't win a game, if these kids have become better ball players and better students and better kids overall, then we've been successful. But even before that, we're already successful because we're keeping these kids off the streets. And that might be the most important thing. So we went over the players. He gave me some opinions on certain players, and I'll be damned if we weren't almost spot on with our evaluation of the kids we have. I told him, look, I only do the lineups and the practice notes for what we're doing at practice in advance, so there's an outline and a setup, but it's not set in stone. I do that so we have it, and then I email it to you guys so you can look at it and give me input. If you ever have any input, please. It's not. This is not like, hey, here's what we're doing. Be ready. It's more of here's the plan. Do you see anything you want to change or add to it? Let me know. That's what it is. And we were good. We closed that pizza place down, man. They were putting chairs up on tables, waiting for us to get out of there. We were talking our asses off. And you know what? We needed it. I needed it. Someone asked me if I'm taking that podcast down. I'm not. I don't do that shit. I don't take back how I felt during that time. It's my life is very real. And I felt everything that I was saying that day. I don't take it back. That's how I felt. And today I feel different because we came together and we talked. That was Tuesday. And then yesterday we had a game, the first game that I was back. And we did not win, but we did compete. These kids lost their two previous games by like 20 runs. And in this game, we lost 8-3. So, and it was one of those days where the kids were smoking the ball. What I mean by that is every batter damn near was hitting the ball, and they were just hitting it hard. Right. I mean, it was literally right at people. Surprising. Like, I think one of our last outs in the bottom half of the seventh inning or the top half of the seventh inning, our best hitter literally smoked a line drive right at the pitcher, and he flinched and caught it. Kid looked at his coach and said, I didn't even know I caught it. That happened at least on 6 or 7 different occasions. Not just the pitcher. I'm talking about smoking a ball to third base, to shortstop, to center field, an absolute seed to center field. And the kid running and just kind of throwing his glove out there and making a spectacular catch. And the coach telling me that kid has never made plays like that in his life. Today, I don't know what's going on today. And I told him, that's what happens, man. This is baseball. That other team hadn't won a game before. They were 0-7, and we were their first win. I'm okay with that, man, because we will be that team. We're 0-4 now. We will be that team where we will get that win against somebody who's already got a win, and they will be upset, and it'll be our first win. It's going to happen, and that's going to be a good day. What I showed the kids after was this. I said, let me prove to you how you're improving. You guys lost 8-3. But let me prove to you how you're improving, okay? Let me show you something. I know you're 0-4. So this is a 15-round boxing match, okay? That's round four. You got 11 more to go. Okay. But look, your first two games, you were batting 111 and like 1 120 or something. Or 130. Your last two games, you were batting 192. You jumped up 62 points. That's still not high. You want to be batting 300 and above. But you went from batting 111 to 192 the last two games. An improvement. Here's the other thing. In the first game, you struck out 19 times. The second game, 14 times. The third game, 9 times. You want to know how many times you struck out today? 7. I promise you, you are improving. All of this is showing you that you are getting better. Okay? It's very important that you guys listen when we share these stats with you because I know all you do is look at the scoreboard and look at your record and you say we suck. You do not suck. You're getting better every time you hit that field. And I promise you, you will continue to grow as long as you do the things that we're teaching you on the field. Do the work, continue to work hard, continue to show up at practice every day. Give me your all, and we will compete. I said, "Where's Mustard at?" Mustard is the little Filipino kid that I call Mustard because I think I shared that story with you guys because he gets cramps sometimes, so I tell him to use mustard packs. That's his nickname now, Mustard. So Mustard hasn't played in the game all year. He was on vacation in Mexico. He came back. He was very pissed off that I was gone. Said he didn't even want to come back. But when I showed up at practice on Tuesday, that kid was so freaking happy. He had a cowboy hat on, and he was just so damn happy to see me. And he said, "Coach, I came back and I felt like the whole school got blown up because everybody was like, Coach Ray's gone." I was so angry. I called my mom. I was like, "Yeah, I'm back." So Mustard comes in, and I love this kid's energy. He's not the most skilled baseball player, but his effort is crazy. He's learning and he's giving me everything he has because he wants to be good at the game. So he plays center field and makes a spectacular catch in center field. Just a great play. He gets up, lays down a bunt to move a runner over, almost beats out the bunt to first base, but he gets out. Second at bat, smacks a single. Third at bat, smacks another single, gets an RBI. I was so happy for this kid. He made one mistake in that game. He was so amped because he was doing well that he took off before he got a steal sign. And he got thrown out at third base. And we got knocked out of an inning that we were actually going to score. So I looked at him. I said, "Did you get a steal sign from me?" He said, "No." I said, "Why'd you go?" "I don't know. I was trying to make something happen." I go, "Listen, don't do that again. I like the aggressiveness. You know I love to play aggressive. But do not do that on your own. Okay? We'll get there. You'll have a green light. When you're ready, I'll give you a green light. I'll tell you, but not yet. Okay? So at the end of the game, I tell everybody, "Hey man, good game, good game, everybody's proud." I come up to him, I said, "Hey, you had a great game." And I go, "Why are you hanging your head?" And he's just not looking happy. And I said, "Hey, why are you hanging your head? You balled out today, man." And he just started crying. I go, "Why are you crying? Don't cry." And he goes, "Because I messed up." I go, "You made a mistake. Who cares? Did you learn from it?" And he's crying. He says, "Yes." And I go, "What are you so hard on yourself for, kid? You went 2 for 3 with an RBI and laid down a bunt too. You had a great game. Stole a couple of bases. You just made one mistake. It was you were being aggressive, trying to steal third. I like the effort. I just want you to do it when I tell you to do it next time. Don't go on your own. That's it. Do I look pissed off? He said, no. I said, I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. You came back and you came here to play. You know what you did? You made my job difficult. He said, why? I said, because they wanted to pull you out. We had subs to get in the game. And Fernandez was like, hey, we got to swap out the outfield. So I'm going to take Isaiah said, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take Mustard. I'm going to take. I said, no, 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 no. We're not taking Mustard out. He's staying in center. Well, we got players. I go, we can move the left fielder and the right fielder. We are not taking him out. Well, why? He's not like a staple out there. I go, listen to me. You don't take a kid out. You don't reward a kid that went 2 for 3 and has 2 stolen bases and an RBI. You don't reward that by taking him out of the game. You keep the kids who are producing in the game. And then the other coach, believe it or not, goes, yeah, man, it's a close game. You don't do that. It's a close game. You keep this kid in there. He's hot right now. And I was like, I looked over my shoulder like, oh, okay. So even the coaching staff, man, we did our thing. We got along, and I think we're understanding what our roles are. So yeah, we lost, but we made more of an improvement, and I'm happy about that. Um, I think the coolest thing after all that was I had a couple of parents that I'd never met. I had a grandfather come up to me, and he said, "You Coach Molina?" I said, "Yep." He goes, "Hey, I just wanted to introduce myself. I wanted to meet you." I go, "Oh man, nice to meet you. Who are you?" And he goes, "I'm Marcus's grandfather." I was like, "Oh, okay, nice to meet you." He said, "Hey man, I'm glad you're back." I go, "Thank you." And I walked away, and he goes, "Hey, no, I mean that. I'm really glad you're back. So is my grandson." I said, "Right on, thank you." Um, it was cool, man. It's cool. I know I shared with you guys how passionate and how much I love these kids and how much I love coaching. Because it's not just about baseball. I try to make sure I coach about, I teach these kids about life, respect, honor, education, just everything, how to live their life like a good young man. So this means so much to me. And I'm just glad that I listened because I wanted to come out of my skin and do something that was probably going to ruin my chances to ever go back there and coach. But I had parents telling me, listen to me, you keep your nose clean. Do not argue. Do not do anything. Sit back. And I said this on the last podcast. They said, sit back, let us handle it. But we're going to get you back here. These kids want you here. We're going to get you back. But do not do anything that's going to make that difficult. Don't argue. Don't fight. Don't cause anything. Don't feel like you got to fight back. Just be quiet, bite your tongue, and let this thing play out. And then I prayed, like I tell you guys, I always do. And I'm glad that I listened to God. I'm glad that I gave it to God, and I'm glad that I said, I know you have something for me. I know there's something you're trying to fix or something that's going on that when it's my time, you'll tell me, and I'll just keep my fat mouth shut because I have a fat mouth, man. That's why I got a podcast. I like to talk too damn much. But that's all I got, man. I just wanted to give you guys an update, and for those of you who are just always into the chronicles of my life, man. That's what I got. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you did, please like, comment, review, share it. Leave a comment in the YouTube section down in the comments. Love to hear from you guys. All right. My website is raymolina.com. Make sure to bookmark that. I also have an online shop there with some merchandise. You can follow the podcast on TikTok and Instagram. It is at the Perfect Mess Pod. My personal page is at It's Ray Molina. That is both Instagram and TikTok. Uh, I am on Twitter, uh, Clubhouse. Threads. I said Twitter. It's actually X. Snapchat. Gosh, Rumble. I'm on all of the platforms. Facebook. You just got to search up It's Ray Molina. You'll find me. I'm on all of them. Just find me. I'll be there. Um, Yeah, that's what I got, man. And the YouTube channel is youtube.com/, the perfect mess pod. If you are watching now or if you're not, please go there, hit subscribe, hit that notification bell on the bottom right hand side so you get all the updates for any videos that I have that I put up. Thank you for the new subscribers. If you're watching, I really appreciate you guys subscribing and sharing the videos. Numbers are going up, and I appreciate you guys. They're going up slow, but this is a slow grind, man. I'm all about the marathon and the journey, okay? Not the 40-yard dash. That's all I got. For those who like to donate, you don't have to, but if you'd like to, I have a Cash App. It is $ It's Ray Molina, and my Venmo is at It's Ray Molina. All right. I love you guys. And like I always say, my life isn't perfect. Oftentimes it is a mess, but for me, it is the perfect mess. Peace.